What's up, Mafia? Madden just told the ugly truth about somebody, and it wasn't who you think it was. Tom Brady's got a theory about wide receivers, and Jalen Hurts might want to get it framed. And ESPN just handed us a quarterback list that's about to make you scream at your phone. We got a lot to get into, and we're getting into all of it, so let's get it mixing. Let's start with the Madden numbers, because this is what everyone's been waiting on since the ratings started leaking out this weekend. Devonta Smith got bumped up to a 91 overall. That's the highest number this man has had in this game, and it's not even close to where he was last year. Now, go look at that wide receiver list. Go ahead and scroll through all of it yourself. Look for AJ Brown near the top of the list with the rest of the names that you normally expect. But guess what? You're not going to find him up there. AJ Brown, a brand new New England Patriot, got hit with an 89 overall. For the first time in years, this man has been under 90 in this game. He's been a lock above 90 basically since he got to Philadelphia. And now he's gone, and he's out. First year in New England, and his number drops. Now look, this is just a video game. Nobody's using Madden as the judge and the jury. I'm not going to sit here and act like that rating decides who's actually better on Sundays during game time. But Madden pulls from real scouting, real film grades, and real conversations from people who are around the league. So when the league quietly agrees that Devonta Smith jumped AJ Brown in the rankings, that's not some random glitch. That's a signal to the NFL. Hold on though, because here's where this actually matters for the roster, not just the video game. Every single report coming out of the building said the same exact thing. It feels lighter in there. There's less tension in the hallways, less walking on eggshells before Sundays, and less energy spent managing one guy's mood every single week. And that's not me saying that. That's people who are actually in the building and went on the record saying it. And all that opens the door for a receiver room that's more simple to build a scheme around. Devonta Smith sits as the unquestioned number one wide receiver. The new pieces that are underneath him, and the quarterback who doesn't have to split his attention between running an offense and managing a personality on the sideline. Now, think about where AJ Brown's actually landing this year. 6-time 1,000-yard wide receiver. Brand new quarterback throwing him the ball. Even the early season projections have him catching fewer yards than he did during his best season here in Philadelphia. Let that sink in. New team, new quarterback, supposedly a fresh start, and the numbers people are putting on him are lower than we actually did when he was in our city wearing midnight green. Which brings us to Tom Brady, because Tom Brady got asked directly about this whole wide receiver drama situation around the league, and instead of dodging the question like most guys did, he went all the way in on it. He basically said that position eats guys alive mentally if they let it. He said some weeks you have good weeks, and sometimes the number will drop. And if a guy can't handle both of those weeks the exact same way, that's when it turns into a real problem for everybody. He actually called it, quote, the Real Housewives of the NFL.
It's like Real Housewives of the NFL. And it's like, it's the same script. And it's like over, and we just, that position, it's like, I almost want to like, the psychology of receiver, I almost want to say like, you're going to catch 110 balls this year, okay? You're 17 games. You're a great receiver, you're going to catch 110 balls. One game you're going to get 11, and one game you're going to get 3. And the next game you're probably going to get 11, then you're going to get 3. I can't have you like the happiest guy in the world when you catch 11 or the most miserable guy on the team when you catch 3. We got to look at it over the course of the year. You got to sustain, because it is a lot of emotional energy that you put out to that position to go, come on, we got it. Come on, stay locked in. Let's go, because I need you. Come on. And it's like that position takes away, if you have that volatile emotional output, it takes a lot of energy from a lot of people to keep that player really stable. So you got to like try to reframe it for them and just say, listen, like you may get 3, but you're going to get 11, or you might get 11. And then, 3. It's just the way it goes. Yeah. If they're doubling Travis, you ain't touching the ball. That's the reality. If they're butching you at the line of scrimmage with the defensive end, and they've got, some ridiculous athlete over the top of you, you ain't, but it frees it up for other people. Exactly. And you got to be cool with that. So, I mean, we're going to see it again this year.
Let that sink in for a second. A guy who's won more championships than anyone who's ever put pads on, comparing diva wide receiver behavior to reality television, on camera, unprompted. That's telling you how bad that situation actually is. And here's the part that actually connects straight to Jalen Hurts. Tom Brady wasn't out here clowning wide receivers for fun. He was pointing out something real about this football league. He said keeping an emotional player stable week to week takes energy away from actually beating the defense that's lined up in front of you. That energy could be spent game planning instead of babysitting someone who's having a bad mood on the sideline. So flip that around and apply it to the Philadelphia Eagles building. All that energy the Eagles use spending managing one guy, keeping him happy after a 3-catch game, smoothing things over after a sideline moment. All that energy is now back in the tank. The coaching staff time, the quarterback's headspace, and the energy in the locker room. Now every bit of that goes towards actual football instead of damage control. And it wasn't just Tom Brady in that room. The guys sitting across from him were cracking up the whole time he said it. Because everyone in that interview already know exactly what situation he was describing without him even saying a name out loud. Even a former Eagle who actually played in the exact same locker room weighed in on the split this weekend. He didn't rip AJ Brown apart the way that you'd expect. He said he got why AJ Brown was frustrated, and he probably would have handled it differently himself.
I think it's gonna be great this year for both sides because everybody's happy. You know, you don't want to be in-house frustrated over things that sometimes you can't control. And I understand, you know, where he is, where he was when he was here, and as a receiver, I do understand that it's all about production. And some people handle it differently. I mean, I wouldn't have probably handled it the way he did, but at the same time, I can get exactly why he was frustrated.
To me, the bigger point he kept coming back to was the mood shift. Everybody's smiling again. Everybody's building chemistry again in the offseason instead of avoiding each other. That's the same theme showing up from every single direction this weekend, whether it's a Hall of Fame quarterback, a former Eagles wide receiver, or a guy who spent 16 years in his exact locker room. Before we continue, let me know what you think. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady calling out AJ Brown? I think that it was spot on, but tell me what you think in the comment section below. Alright, let's move on to Devonta Smith, because he's our new wide receiver 1, and this man deserves his time. People forget this guy was told he was too small at every single level he's ever played at. Too skinny for college ball, and he won a Heisman anyway. Too skinny for the league, and he turned into a Super Bowl winning wide receiver anyway. This doubt thing is not new to Devonta Smith. It's basically his whole career arc on repeat. And the numbers aren't the only thing that's backing this up.
I mean, they got Devonta Smith. I mean, he's always been a number 1 guy, even when AJ was here. I mean, he could have easily been WR1 at any game. So, again, he's going to show that leadership. He's going to bring those guys along. So, I don't see any drop off.
You had a Hall of Fame wide receiver flat out say this weekend that Devonta Smith could have been a wide receiver 1 on basically any roster in this league, even back when AJ Brown was still splitting targets with him when he was on the Eagles. Now he's not sharing targets. Now he's not sharing headlines, and he's definitely not sharing that wide receiver 1 tag with anybody else in this building. It's fully his room now, from top to bottom. Depth chart wise, that's the entire passing offense shifting underneath him. Every route concept, every scheme design, and every third down call. It all goes through Devonta Smith first before it goes through anybody else. That's more targets on early downs. That's more red zone looks when it matters the most. And that's a real contract argument writing itself in real time if he plays anywhere close to the way people inside the building expect him to play. Now, let's get into one that's actually going to make you want to throw your remote across the entire room. ESPN dropped their quarterback rankings this morning, and Jalen Hurts is nowhere inside the top 10. Read that back one more time. Nowhere inside the top 10. He's sitting down inside the honorable mention pile, besides names like Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence, Jordan Love, and Brock Purdy. The actual top 10 has guys like Justin Herbert, Dak Prescott, and Jared Goff ranked ahead of him. Multiple guys on that list have 0 championship rings between all of them combined, and Jalen Hurts has got one sitting in a trophy case right now. Stats got these other guys ranked high, and rings got Jalen Hurts pushed to the side. That's exactly the game they're playing with this list, and it happens basically every single offseason. But here's the scheme piece nobody in the media wants to actually talk about with these rankings. Jalen's getting a brand new coordinator this year, a rebuilt wide receiver room from top to bottom, and a much cleaner locker room to operate inside of. Last year's version of Jalen Hurts was dealing with a first-year play caller finding his footing, which he never did, I might add, and a receiver room that had internal noise every single week. This year strips all of that away from him all at once. Cap-wise, the front office set things up so skilled players around him are most likely on rookie deals or team-friendly contracts. That means real resources stayed available to keep investing in his offense. But hold on, because there's another part to this that people keep skipping past. One of the actual coaches who voted on this list admitted it himself. He said something along the lines of, he knows Jalen Hurts has been up and down, but between the championship pedigree and the mental makeup, he still takes chances with him over most of the guys on this list. So even the people who are ranking him low are on the record saying they still take him over a lot of the guys when the moment actually matters. So when these national lists come out every single year, and they slide in behind guys with way less to actually show for it, that's not real information about how good Jalen Hurts is. That's the fuel sitting there waiting to be used. And this building has used this exact kind of fuel before more than once, and it's led to some amazing things. So, here's where we are with this team, and here's where all three things actually link up into one bigger story. Madden confirmed the shift at wide receiver. Tom Brady confirmed exactly why that shift makes this whole team easier to build around going forward. And ESPN confirmed the outside world still isn't ready to give Jalen Hurts real credit even after everything that he's done. 3 separate stories this weekend, and every single one of them points at the same exact thing. This team doesn't need the noise anymore. It doesn't need the man as a diva anymore, and it definitely doesn't need attention from a ranking list to know exactly what they're building within this organization. The chip is already there. It's been there for a long time now. Outside voices just keep adding to the pile every single offseason. And this roster has already shown you plenty of times before what it does when a pile like that is put in front of them. Come back at the end of the season and tell me if these rankings still look the same, because that's really what this whole weekend boils down to. Everybody outside the building still grading last year's version of this team. Last year's noise, last year's coordinator, and last year's receiver room. None of that exists anymore. And when people finally catch up to see what's actually being built up within this organization, these takes are going to age about as well as you'd expect. Now, if you're locked in with this channel, hit that like button and drop a hype. It helps the channel grow. Hit subscribe if you already aren't and become a part of the Mafia. Share it with another Eagles fan to include them in the conversation. And smash that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next out of training camp. And once again, I've been Brother Shy, and this has been the Midnight Green Mafia.